Believe it or not, this is actually possible.
500 credit score and went to the bank and got $10,000 loan. I think God approved it.
Now, we all know God does not work at the bank, so you most definitely have to have some things in place. In this video, I'm going to show you guys how Country Wayne was able to not only get approved for a $10,000 loan with a 500 credit score, but even if you tried all of these and it didn't work out, don't worry, I got some alternatives. Here's what you need to do. Number one. So if you guys haven't seen one of the top channels right now on YouTube, Club Shay Shay, in one of his recent interviews, he interviewed a famous comedian named Country Wayne. And Country Wayne said this.
500 credit score and went to the bank and got $10,000 loan. Cause I'm like, I need this. And I feel like when you got stuff lined up in your heart right, I think God approved it for us. Cause he know we sit behind in this world. He ain't just finna let you go get approved for anything. But, man, I used to go to the bank and get loans with a 500 credit score. I got my daddy a loan at the bank while he was on the run for the police.
Wow.
But when I really needed something and I had an idea to match my belief, I just did it. So I really believe, man, my ancestors don't work too hard.
Cause you went in there with good intentions.
Yeah, I really had. I told the man, hey, man, I did a little swift job. Like, man, this your family, man. This is a nice family, man. You know what I'm saying? I mean, the brother used to give me that money.
Yeah.
He used to give me that money, man. I put him in my book. These bank people used to give me this money. And I did what I say, and I eventually paid them back.
Now, I know it sounds crazy, and even I thought about that for a second, but I said, you know what? It is possible, but you have to have these things in place. Number one is a strong income. Now, I don't know exactly what Country Wayne's income was at the time that he got approved for the loan, but no bank in the world, even if the bank manager is your wife, your husband, your mom, your dad, it doesn't matter what that is. A bank is not going to put themselves in a risky position. 500 credit score, $10,000 loan without having some type of strong income. So what I'm thinking is his income had to be at the time at least over $75,000 to $100,000. Now, if you guys have ever applied for a personal loan, or if you guys come from the loan industry or banking industry, please put in the comments how accurate this can be, okay? If a person has a strong income and they're borrowing a certain amount of money, the first thing they're going to look at is not only the strength of the income, how long that person's been getting that income as well, what the source is, and things of that sort. Okay. Now, they're also going to be looking to see if that person filed taxes on that income as well. Either way, there's no way a bank would give that kind of money without knowing, number one, that a person could pay that amount of money back. It's a stupid situation if a bank says, hey, we're going to give you this money, but we don't even know if you're going to be able to pay that back. Now, if you guys watch the interview, of course, Country Wayne is making millions of dollars now, but it's safe to say he was well over 50 to 75,000 back during that time. Number two, a low credit score, but mainly depending on the reason. Now, what I mean by that is that sometimes you have people that are in the 500s, 550s, even in the 400s, and they can have maxed out credit cards, but they have a good income and things of that sort. What does that mean? That means that since the utilization is high, for example, you got 3 credit cards, 5 credit cards, 6 credit cards, whatever. If they're all maxed out, that's going to really bring your score down. That doesn't mean necessarily that you don't know how to manage your money or that you are not making the best decisions. Sometimes things happen. You got to swipe your credit cards, they max out, emergencies, or whatever the case is, and now your score is a lot lower. But you still make the same income. You still have the same financial sense. And an emergency probably just presented itself, which ended up putting you in a position where you had to swipe your credit cards. Now they're maxed out. Now you have a lower score, but at the same time, you're still a strong. But at the same time, you're still a strong client. Now, if it wasn't max credit cards, it also could have been a recent late payment. It could have also been a recent collection or a recent derogatory item in which he was really a 600 or a 700, and then he got something that happened bad to his credit report, and then before you know it, it ended up dropping his score. Number three, he thought he was a 500. He probably wasn't. If you guys look at any FICO category scores, okay, you can look up your credit score. A category, that score is a little bit different. I'll give you an example. Let's say a person, going back to the credit card example. If you have your credit cards and you've been late on your credit cards or you've maxed out your credit cards, that's going to affect your credit card score. But if you've had personal loans in the past, if you've had other things that are similar to installment loans, like having a student loan, something like that, if you make the payments on time with an installment loan, then everything that falls into the loan category will be a higher score. I've seen people all the time have issues with their credit cards, but then their installment loans, which in this case would be the mortgage score, those are separate scores, guys. They're not the same as your overall scores. Your overall scores are the first thing that you see when you log into Credit Karma, or when you log into MyFICO. Those are your overall scores. Your overall scores when you look at your credit card score, like the score that your credit card shows you or something like that. That's going to be your overall score. Now, if you look at your overall score, that's going to be a different score than your category scores, okay? And like I said, this is the same for mortgages or anything else. So what I'm thinking is there's a chance that he said, yeah, I was in the 500s. That doesn't mean that he was 500. He could have been a 575. He could have been a 598. And I'm telling you, those numbers make a huge difference because, again, people in the financial industry will tell you based on where your score is, that's going to determine your interest rate and things of that sort. Now, if you watch the video, you'll see that he says, hey, I talked to the person at the bank. I was able to get multiple loans at different times. Sounds like to me, it could have been a credit union, okay? If it was a credit union, as we all know, credit unions are big on building relationships, okay? So what does that mean? That means if you have your checking account there, if you have your savings account there, if you had a credit card there, the more accounts that you have at a credit union is going to put you in a better position, especially when you need to borrow money. It's not just for borrowing money, but also if you want to get a credit card or something like that. But when you're trying to get a personal loan, if you have a good history with them, a lot of times they look at other factors outside of your credit score, especially if they know you. For example, if your family member says, hey, I need to borrow $500, and they've never asked you for money before, or they paid you on time in the past, or that they have a good job, or that they're good for it, you would give them the money. And a lot of times we let family members borrow money. We don't check their credit scores. We go off of what we know about them. So there's a very good chance that he had that relationship built with the credit union, which put him in a position to keep getting approved for that. Another reason why I think it was a credit union is because he said he was able to get a loan in his dad's name, not for him, but specifically for his dad while his dad was locked up. I mean, I don't know if anybody else would do something like that outside of a potential credit union, okay? That's the only thing that makes sense to me. Next, he probably put up some collateral. A lot of times people will put up, the car, they'll put up, a house or some type of collateral in which a bank says, hey, we're okay with giving you X amount of dollars, 9,500, 10,000. I'm not saying that it wasn't 10. I'm just saying that if he did get that amount of money with that type of credit score, the bank would be foolish not to have some type of collateral just in case he defaulted on the loan. And again, that past history plays a role as well too. So I don't know what it was like when he got that first loan. He could have had a loan number one when he was in the 600s or high fives. The score kept coming down for whatever reason, and then he ended up paying that loan back. And then, like he said, he mentioned in the interview, as well as he mentioned inside of his book, that he would get the loans, pay them back, get the loans, pay them back. So when you build that relationship, again, thinking it's a credit union, that most definitely put him in a good position. Now, just because you can do this doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work out the best way for everybody, okay? One of the comments even said, man, if I tried to do something like this, they'll put me in jail. Now, let's say you tried to do it this same way and it didn't work out for you. Don't worry. There are some personal loan options for people that don't have the best credit. So one of the first things you want to do is, if you can, you want to try to improve your credit score. And that's going to be obviously the best way to do it. But sometimes when people, they need to have a personal loan, sometimes they don't have enough time to wait 30, 60, 90 days for their score to refresh and then actually start improving their credit score. So what some people do is they say, hey, listen, I need to be able to get a loan right now. And there are some options for you. One of those options is going to be upstart.com. Now, depending on what your credit scores are, doesn't necessarily guarantee an approval, but Upstart will look at other factors instead of just looking at your credit score. They're going to look at your income. They're going to look at how long you've been at your job. They're going to look at what school you went to. They're going to look at where you work. So all of these things are going to play a major role on the personal loan application. Not only that, but they also do a soft pull. Many of these options I'm going to mention are going to be soft pulls as well. The second one is going to be Lending Club. And I'll just keep going down the list. So that's number two is lendingclub.com. And they do more than just personal loans. All of these options do more than just personal loans. You could do the refinance, auto loan, and there's a lot of other perks as well, too, that they have as well. Number three is going to be Avant.com. That's Avant.com. Next is going to be Payoff.com. Now, Payoff just changed their name to Happy Money. Same exact thing. Then you have SoFi.com. That's SOFI.com. And then you also have credit card companies that do this as well. American Express personal loans, Discover personal loans as well. So those are some of the options that you do have. But if you get denied with everything I talked about before and you get denied from all these other personal loans as well, it's not the end of the world. All you have to do is improve your credit score. And if you need a professional to take a look at your credit score, I'm that guy. I can take a look at your credit score and tell you exactly what you need to do, not only to improve that credit score, but to accomplish your goal. So if you're looking to go into home ownership, or if you're looking to lower your car payment, or you're just looking to improve your credit score overall, you can either schedule a one-on-one Zoom call with me directly, or I could just go ahead and look at your credit report and then send you a game plan via email. If you want to learn more about that, the link is in the description below. If you think this video is great, wait till you see the next one. I'll see you there.